Hi, and welcome to Prepping Essentials.
Well, regular viewers to the channel will know that I've been getting an abundance of cucumbers out of the polytunnel, and I can't possibly eat all of these just in like salads and sandwiches before they start to go soft. So I figured I'd do something a little bit different to try and preserve the cucumbers a little bit longer. It's something I've never tried before, so as always, a bit of an experiment. But I thought today I'd do some quick pickle for these cucumbers. So let's take a look. Well, here we are in the kitchen, and we've got our basic ingredients. Clearly, first thing we need is cucumbers, and I guess the amount of cucumbers you can pickle will be kind of dictated by the jars you've got to store them in. So we'll set about peeling those and cutting those up shortly. But essentially, there's a simple solution for the actual pickling liquid, and it's equal parts distilled vinegar and water. So again, look at what jars you've got that you want to fill, work out the capacity of those, and that will give you the volume of the actual pickling solution that you're going to make. And as I say, it's 50-50 with white vinegar and water. Inside the actual pickling solution, once we pop into the jars, you can pretty much do what you like with that. I'm going to be putting some dill into it, some mustard seeds, and it's normal seasoning, salt, but rather than actual ground pepper, I'll be using the actual peppercorns themselves rather than grinding the pepper in. Other than that, it's fairly basic. So I'll get set chopping these up, and then we'll come back to see how we make the actual pickling solution itself. And then once we've made that, we'll move on to filling the jars and adding our various condiments to that liquid. Okay, so we've got our washed cucumbers. There are different ways that you can chop these up. It's entirely your own personal preference, but clearly the ends need to come off, and you're going to discard those. And then it's really up to you what you want to do. I mean, leave the skin on, but you can chop them into, I don't know, just over 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch rounds like this. Or you could take the cucumber and cut it into wedge shapes. I've got 2 mason jars that I'm going to fill, so I might be tempted, for a bit of variety, to do one of each. Do one with the round and the other one cut into sticks or wedges, whatever you want to call it. But as I say, it's entirely your own personal preference as to what you want to do. There are lots of different ways of pickling. I don't claim to be an expert in anything for that matter. Certainly not pickling. You can ferment pickle, you can pressure can pickles, or you can do what I'm doing. You can make what they call quick pickle. The difference really is in shelf life. Quick pickling like this is not really suitable for long-term storage, unlike your pressure canned or your fermented pickle. This is really designed to be kept in the refrigerator, probably up to a month, but not really for much longer than that. Then for me that's fine. start, as this is something that's new to me, and since I don't have a pressure canner, then realistically this is the best option for me right now. So I'm just trying to pack these in as best I can. And it looks like this is definitely going to fill the jar. So I chose the right sized cucumbers for this jar. And I think I'll actually leave it at that. I don't really think I can squeeze in any more without going too high up in the jar. Yeah. Oh, perhaps that little one. Yeah, perfect fit. So let's pop those to one side. I'll chew on those shortly. So for this one, let's go for wedges. Not quite sure how many wedges I'll get in that jar. How tall is it? Well, that's pretty much spot on actually. So let me just cut through that, and then we'll just go through. I'll do the same on this side. Let's just see how that looks. Couldn't have planned it any better. I should be able to squeeze in a couple more. So let's take a fairly big chunk off that end. And similar on that end. Slice through that. Let's try that. I won't get all of these in, but I might get a few in. Yeah. Let's get one of those. Get that one in. And again, I don't think I'm going to get much more in there. Might get one perhaps. Down the middle. Yep, there we go. Oh, you never know. He who dares wins. I might get another one in there. Look at that. Made for the job. So there we go. There's our second jar. I've got a couple of spares to chew on later. So that's the cucumber in the jars. I need to make up the solution now. So let me spin the camera around and I'll show you what we do with that. Okay, we've got our pan ready. All I'm going to do is pop a litre of water into the pan. This is going to be a tight fit. This is a 2.5 litre pan, so I need 2 litres to fill my jars. So a litre of water. This is another one of those squirty style lids, which I don't want. There we go. It's my vinegar. And another vinegar. There's half a litre in each of these. Well, slightly over actually, but for the purposes of this, it doesn't really matter. So this, in effect, is making our pickling solution. I think if you look at different channels, they call it the brine rather than the pickling solution, but hey. So that pops onto there, and we need to get to the boil, but into that I'm just going to pop a tablespoon of sugar, a tablespoon of mustard seeds, and a tablespoon of salt. Quick stir around, and we need to get that to the boil. As soon as it's boiled, we're ready then to pop it in the pickling jars. The only additional thing in the pickling jars will be a little bit of dill. I can actually start popping that in now. No great science to this, just tuck it into the jar with the cucumber. It's just for a bit of flavouring. There we go. So we just need to wait for that to boil, and then we'll be in business and we'll start filling the jars. Right, well, that's come to a boil, which is all we want it to do. So literally I'm going to turn that heat off, and I'm just going to give that a few minutes to calm itself down a little bit before I actually fill the glasses. It's really just to make sure that I don't have too much of a heat shock when I fill the pickling jars. They should be fine, they're designed for this, but I'm just erring on the side of caution. So that's now switched off. I'll just move it off the heat, and it shouldn't take it more than a minute or two just to settle down, and then I'll fill the jars up. Okay, here we go. Let's get this poured into the jug. Just makes it a little bit easier for me to get it into these jars. He said, spilling it everywhere. I don't know why that jug's doing that. It's a bit bizarre. There we go. Just leaving about, I don't know, half an inch or so headroom. I'll let that settle a little bit before I put this one in and top it up. Okay, I think that's about there. Okay, I think we're about there. So all that remains, I'll just leave these for a minute or so just to steam off a little bit, then I'll pop the lids on, and then we'll take a little look at the finished result. Well, there we go. There's our jars of our pickled cucumber, both wedge shape and sliced. So I need to leave those. The cool them down a little bit, then go into the fridge. And they really need to sit for a day or two, just to let the cucumber absorb the flavour of the pickling solution, or the brine, whatever you want to call it. And then they'll be ready to eat. So, cooking with your preps, pickled cucumber. Bon appetit.
Well, that's it for another video on cooking with your preps. Something a little bit different this time with the pickled cucumber. Pickling and canning is something that I've never tried before, and it's something I am keen to try and learn to do. Bit difficult here in the UK because canning supplies and pressure cookers are pretty thin on the ground and actually very expensive here. But who knows, if I start off small, maybe we'll get there in the end. Do you can or pickle? If you do, what do you can or pickle? Let us all know in the comment section below. But for now, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.